Why are you excited? What just happened a few minutes ago?
TJ Brodie signed with the Leafs. Listen, I couldn't be happier here. Um,
Hmm.
I guess you want to start with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was about 4 minutes after Steve Danko tweeted about the anniversary of the Kadri trade, and people were saying maybe something's going to happen tonight and get us excited. And he's like, "Don't get my hopes up."
Steven. Oh,
And then,
Steven.
and then all of a sudden, I get a tweet notification of Steve Dangle saying it took 4 minutes in all capitals, and I realized, I see something's happened. And then what do I see when I open Twitter? Elliot Friedman saying Brodie to Toronto. I mean, talk about Brodie here. All three of you, Daniel and I, had him on, a potential defenseman the Leafs could acquire. What does he bring to the Leafs? Why would you bring in TJ
I'll
Brodie?
Let me read you some advanced statistics.
Oh no.
Outlet pass completions, 8.6 per game. That's defensive rank of 49th. Stretch pass completions, 2.4 per game. Defensive rank, 23rd. Defensive, this is the one. Defensive turnover rate, because we know how much Toronto turns over the puck. 10% per game. That ranks ninth among all defensemen.
So he's defensively responsible.
Yeah. So he can play next to more. I think the biggest thing, and I've said this about 100 times on this podcast, is they need to get someone who can play with Riley and who can properly play on the right side. Like Ron Hainsey could play defensively, okay, but it was a nightmare for him to play on the right side. Nikita Zaitsev, I don't even need to explain.
No.
Right. And I think this is by far the best partner he's had while he's played with the Leafs. I really don't have any complaints. I guess we haven't said the contract. It's 4 years at $5 million. I don't mind that deal at all. Like, it still gives them cap space to kind of move around. And I mean, they're $3 million over the cap, but it's better than what they were gonna sign Pietrangelo to, which is at least $3 million more.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is a very good point. I might as well ask you this now because the conversation. I think I was going between TSN's coverage and Sportsnet's. They mostly like TSN because I really like their setup, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I switched from TSN to Sportsnet at one point because the Petrangelo to Toronto stuff came up. But as I switched to Sportsnet, they were having the same conversation. I
Yeah.
mean, is it fair to say that the TJ Brodie signing sort of takes Toronto out of the Petrangelo? What do you
Yes.
call it?
Yes. You
Blue
don't even
snake
need to finish the
scenario?
sentence. You don't even need to finish the sentence. Yeah.
I like that. I really
Absolutely.
like that. So then the top four for the Leafs next year we can say is a Riley TJ Brodie sort of combination,
Mm-hmm.
which probably was the original plan, but Kadri nixed the deal last year. God damn
I
it!
heard it
Long
was
year
both.
contract.
I heard it was both ways because I heard TJ Brodie also had Toronto on his no trade list.
Really?
I remember reading that, and I don't want to say it's 100%. I do remember reading that at the time or whenever it came out.
Well,
So
I guess
things
$20
have
million
changed.
dollars changed his mind.
I
And
I'd
how's it
assumed
start?
things. I'd assumed some things have changed. I mean, listen, they could still make another addition to the right side if they wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
um, because they don't really have an actual right-handed defenseman or a defenseman who's played on the right side who can slot in the third pair. Right now, I was looking. I don't remember. I think it was Jonas Siegel who put it out. Had Dermott and Lettinen. Dermott on the left, Lettinen on the right. I know Lettinen's played on the right a bit in the KHL or in Sweden, but like it's not the same as playing on the right in the NHL. Like it's just a different beast.
Yeah, different rink sizes and whatnot.
I wonder. Well, I mean, they're gonna have to move someone, and I think the obvious names are Kerfoot and Janssen, and I think and I guess we'll get to it in a bit or whenever you want to, the Wayne Simmonds signing, that kind of makes someone expendable on the bottom six. And I do think that is Andreas Janssen, unfortunately.
we might as well sort of tackle all the Leaf stuff while we're here.
Sure, let's do it because I
Uh,
got a bunch.
See, since he was a flyer, when there was term still on it, when he was still 20, 30 goal Wayne Simmons,
Yeah.
there's always been whispers of him wanting to come back to Toronto. His dogs are here, and if you have a dog, you understand. I mean, look at Mike and his dog, his little German Shepherd Kilo. He wants to be with him.
Yeah.
It's 1 year, 1.5 full trade protection. I think Anthony Stewart broke it. And I feel like Wayne Simmons was like, yo, this is what's up, man. Take it. And Friedman
Yeah.
was just like, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah.
He did take less. We will mention it now. It was between the Habs and the Leafs, and he decided, you know what? The Habs did give more money. He's like, I'm going to take a discount, and I'm going to go home. Which, I mean, if Leafs fans weren't happy enough to get Wayne Simmons, I imagine that just puts him even more into the good books. That he's taken that discount, especially with the top guys not doing so. He's definitely been like, you know what, guys, I'm happy. He knows his role. What does Wayne Simmons?
Well, Tavares technically took a discount.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
TSN argues, but
we'll get to it. We'll get to Tavares because I had that stuff because I do have some comments about that 3-letter organization. Wayne Simmons here. I think we talked about it. We either talked about it last episode. I know we talked about it last night when we were texting. That Wayne Simmons on this team is max a third line player. Mm-hmm. Based on because I believe he plays on the right. Like I don't know if he's interchangeable. Just I've seen him on multiple occasions. He's a right winger, and I don't think like you can move Willie to the left. Whatever. He's a third line player. Like you're not. I don't think it makes sense to put him up there. In my eyes, you have two guys in Hyman and Mikheyev who fit on your top 6 as wingers. You're fine. He finally adds grit. Like the actual grit to this team. And Kyle Clifford did a really good job at that. My understanding was apparently Dubas offered Clifford 3 years at over $1 million and Clifford declined. So you can go whatever. Like that's fine. Nothing against Clifford. It's just, okay. Like you don't take that. You don't take it. But I do like this deal. Like it's been rumored for how many years? Like last summer, it was rumored. I don't know. Like I do enjoy the deal. He's probably a 4th line guy. You're gonna see a 4th line probably of Engvall, Spezza, Simmons, and Engvall and Spezza will interchange on that center role. Mm-hmm. I do like the deal. Like that guy's probably gonna beat the crap out of somebody.
He's sort of that Corey Perry, like Yanni Gore type of. You hate playing against him.
Yeah.
But he's a playoff type of player. You know, the old Bergevin saying there are players who get you to the playoffs and players that get you through the playoffs, and that's exactly what Wayne Simmons is.
I do like. I think today was a success for the Leafs in terms of free agency.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I don't think Dubas is done. Like I think he's going to go out there and sign some depth pieces.
Making trades too, as you mentioned with the likes of Johnson and that.
Yeah. Can I just
like there should be trades coming?
I have a feeling there will be trades coming. Can I just go on a bit of a tyrant here? About
Tavares?
It's about Tavares and it's about Amirov. Like I slept on the Amirov pick just because I'm like, okay, I didn't get the sense of how like who Amirov was, because if I'm being honest, I actually didn't know who Amirov was, and I actually
the draft episode we did, and you get everyone's reaction on Amirov and see how like a lot of us knew who he was.
I didn't really know who he was, and I actually did my research and found out who Amirov was.
Unlike Carlo Kaliakovo.
Oh, that was such an I'm sorry. Like, in my opinion, your job is to be a hockey expert and give takes based on what you know. And I understand you don't know anything at the time of sending that tweet. So go out and learn something and then give your take on it. Like, I don't think that's how it works. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Like, I get it's your first, whatever. Mm-hmm. I do like the Amirov pick because it's the bet. It was in Kyle Dubas's eyes. It was the best player available. And it doesn't necessarily fill the need at the moment. It's going to have to fill the need in a couple of years, which is they're going to need that you're going to have to resign Hyman, you're going to have to resign Riley, and you're going to need cheap guys on ELCs to come in. And that guy seems like a good player in the KHL.
You know what I always find interesting about the draft? And they're like, yo, this is going to address a need at 15th overall. And you think, man, it's going to take 2 or 3 years for these players.
At least.
I've always found that really interesting. It's like, they need this guy. It's like, well, yeah, but not yet. Well, no, they do, but he's not ready. It's really weird.
Yeah, like you're gonna go out there and get Braden Schneider 19 or 15th overall, hypothetically, or Caden Gooley, whichever one. And by the way, say it. It's how do you pronounce it?
So I heard it. Michel Lacroix asked Caden Gooley himself. Mike is wrong here. It's not Gould. It's pronounced Caden Gooley.
Okay.
From his mouth.
Okay. We'll get to Montreal in a bit. Those guys are not going to be ready for at least a couple of years. That lets Sandin develop. That lets Dermott develop. That gets us to see what Lettinen is. And that gets Kyle Dubas to do what he did today and sign TJ Brodie. They still have Timothy Liljegren. So what need is he addressing at the moment? Nothing. He addresses nothing at the moment. He addresses an issue 3 or 4 years down the line when the Leafs prospects, just like those guys at TSN said, is like gone because, they actually developed them properly, and it puts them in a better position. Like that goalie they took in the 4th round. I want to bring this up. I somehow found him a few months ago on Hockey DB. I clicked his page by accident. I'm like, damn, that would be a good guy. That'd be a good guy for a team to pick up in the draft. And it just happened to be the Leafs. And like, that's a guy who you now have in your prospect pool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel really bad for that. How do you say his name again?
Who?
That's the Russian winger we all believe he is.
Oh, Rhodion Amirov?
Rhodion Amirov. First of all, that's a really cool name.
It is
which
a cool name.
with me goes a long way.
Yeah.
But like, I really hope he does not have Twitter, because I saw after that, because obviously whenever we're done with the show, the first thing I do is somehow I just go on Twitter.
Yeah.
Even though we check it at the end of the show. And I was just seeing so much about this kid. And I was like, man,
they're buffoons.
Just breathe a bit.
Buffoons.
Just breathe. Okay. Do you want to get the last sort of stuff off the chest with Tavares?
Should we get the John Tavares thing? I didn't even finish the clip. You did though, right?
Okay, yeah. So for context,
what a joke.
Somehow, I don't know how this happened. TSN, and it was like Craig Button. It was Mike Johnson,
Brian Hayes,
like
Carlo
all
Koliakovo,
the typical fellas. Somehow the discussion of how the Tavares signing and whether it was good or bad for the Leafs came up. And I think all but one of them said it was a terrible idea. And I can't remember, was it Hayes who said it was
I think
good?
It was Johns. I don't know who said it was. I didn't finish the clip, Adam.
Well, anyway.
As soon as I thought they were going to say, it was Mike Johnson who said, he's a good player. It's just, as the days go on, each day he's getting older. Thank you for explaining me. Thank you for explaining me how it works. I didn't know that's how age works.
See, it's weird because Mike Johnson is normally very good.
Yeah.
And he came in and made a save because Pierre Maguire was saying the Leafs don't know how to team build. And he's like, Tampa does. And then Mike Johnson was just like, no, I think they won because Victor Hedman's a god. And I'm like Mike Johnson's one of my favorite people in hockey. But like, if you want to make the point where the contract, like everyone knows, like maybe those last 2 years because of like Tavares' legs are gonna not look the best. We know that. Like hockey sense doesn't go though. If you want to make a point of like the Leafs are wasting the best years of the contract, fine. But at the time, like, and even now, the Tavares contract is not what's screwing the Leafs. It is, and it's not Nylander's contract because that's a very fair market value deal.
You exactly know who it is.
the extra money from Matthews, but he's more worth it,
Yeah.
and Mitch Marner.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issues. It's not fair. I don't know what they're doing.
So can we go through like just here's an idea. The Tampa Bay Lightning, who are their tough guys? Patrick Maroon? Who's the guys that they all praised did such a good job at being grinders?
Yanni Gourde.
Okay. Yeah. So Yanni Gourde, Blake Coleman, Barclay Goodrow, Patrick Maroon, like the bottom guys, bottom 6 guys who everyone says Toronto needs to sign. They were Coleman, Goodrow, Maroon. Who else?
You could say like a guy like Luke Shen was that.
Luke Shen.
Brayden Coburn is sort of like that. Beside that, the rest of those guys are just they play hard, but they've got skill to a lot of skill to their game.
Do you know what every single one of those players have in common?
What's that, Alex?
They weren't drafted by the damn team. None of them were drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning. God forbid.
Drafted, period.
God forbid, except Yanni Gourde, right? Yanni Gourde, I believe he was undrafted. So they signed and developed him.
Yes.
Goodrow, Coleman, Maroon signed or traded or signed this year. Luke Shen signed this year. Who'd I miss? Coburn. Coburn was traded to the team in 2015. God forbid Kyle Dubas drafts a skilled player in the first round. God forbid. I have it here. I did some research. Remember the names I asked you to come up with? Yeah. This is what it was for.
Just give you tough guys, yeah.
Yeah. 2 of them were drafted in the first round. Tom Wilson, who's actually like kind of okay at the game, and Corey Perry, who again is also kind of good at the game, like in his prime.
That's right? A former Hart winner.
Okay. Like Reeves, 5th round. Josh Anderson, 4th round. Lucic, Simmons, Clifford McQuaid, all 2nd round. God forbid Kyle Dubas drafts a forward in the first round who is skilled. God. So it's honestly so annoying. Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Then we good to go on with the signings.
Oh, can we do? I didn't finish the Tavares thing. I just realized. I think it's really ignorant. That's such an ignorant way of looking at it because, okay, Tavares put up 47 goals in his first year, and y'all like everyone was kissing his ass. This year he has a child, so like I think we brought this up on the podcast. Probably he's losing some sleep. Like let's just be real.
Let me ask the source. Hey, Mom. How difficult is it having a child?
It's more difficult on the woman than the man.
Well, sleep schedule-wise, though, how terrible is it?
Your sleep schedule's all over the place.
Exactly.
The first year's
all over the place.
Right. Okay, so probably not getting a lot of sleep.
Alex, have you ever like not gotten your 8 hours and you've just
last night
the rest of the day?
Last night, all of today.
And now imagine the physical toll of sports,
right?
Like the travel,
and
you broke your thumb at one point and had to come back playing.
Right, and I can almost promise the way he played, he looked like he came back early. But no, yes. John Tavares is the problem with this team. If it wasn't for John Tavares, this team would be a cup contender. Okay, I'm saying it right now.
They could have given that money to a guy. I don't know, like who. Just name me a tough guy who was like Corey Perry. Give him 6.
You know what? They could have given Wayne Simmons $10 million instead of the 5 that New Jersey gave him.
Yeah. Well,
that's it for me. That's it. I'm done.
We good
yeah. I don't have anything else to say about Toronto.